Okay, we are live. And thank you everyone so we have a couple of people in chat. We have Rain and we have Konto. And I actually woke up just, I don't know, 2 hours ago, an hour ago. And I wasn't planning on streaming, but I felt like, let me just get this out of the way. Well, not out of the way, that makes it sound like a chore. More like I was filled with energy and I just needed to get it out. So let's get the background music. You know how important that is for me. I love that background music. I'm thinking about an intro music that's a little more rock and roll, a little more heavy on the guitar. So I might try that next time. Okay. It's going to be a busy couple of months for tablets. It sure is. Let me get my video set up here. There we go. Okay. So what do I mean by busy? Well, there hadn't really been any major updates for a while. And then all of a sudden we're hearing Wacom 114, the new XP Pen Ultra 16, and there's a new Huion 24 coming. And so it looks like things are going to heat up, at least with pen displays, for the next few months. Hera is here. Well, Rain, I like to keep the tablets around, and the reason for that is sometimes people ask me to compare tablets and test. And one day, I have, this is my 108th tablet, something like that. One day I might reduce my collection. I want to keep my Wacoms, to be honest. One day maybe. But right now I'm just going to keep going. Probably this coming year I'll slow down my tablet purchasing because I will have collected all my backlog of Wacom tablets. And what I'm discovering is, tablets are just getting good. So in a couple of years, reviews, as you know them, don't need to cover some of the same, or they don't need to focus so much on the same topics. As everything will be good, right? And I think we'll be in a very different world in a few years for drawing tablets. Oh, Hera. Well, thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it as always. Hey, Fulcaber, thank you for joining us. Proud owner of a Wacom Intuos Pro 2017. Fantastic. So. Yeah, Tio, they're just, they're coming out of the woodwork. They're just coming out of the woodwork. I was surprised that they released one. And I'm really curious how it's going to behave. So someone commented earlier, they were surprised that I got the Wacom 114. I wasn't going to get it. I literally, as of Sunday morning, I was not going to get it. Or Saturday night, I was not going to get it. And then I thought, wow, it's about, $300? And it's priced to be competitive, I would say, for a Wacom product. So a lot of people are going to be looking at this tablet, and I thought I should talk about it because we're going to have to figure out whether it's meeting its need or not. And I will compare it against some other tablets. We'll compare it against the Moving 13. We'll talk about it in comparison to the Wacom 113 Touch. Yeah, it's always good when we have a celebrity like T.O. in chat. No, Rain, I'm not going to get the XP Pen Artist Ultra because I don't think it's the same pen tech as before. And I think people like Brad and T.O. will cover that in depth. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, T.O. actually just in the past couple of hours has a written review. Let me find the link. I know I pasted it in the Discord. You should read that, actually. Let me find it. 1 second. Copy. Where is it? Let's put it in chat. Yeah, he's got a review of the Artist Ultra 16. And I haven't read it. I just briefly glanced at it. Let me put it in chat. There we go. That's T.O.'s review. Rain says, I think they released it because the Moving Pad 11 release made the Wacom 113 make no sense. Yeah, it's a weird mix, right? We'll take a look. We'll compare them a little bit. Let me get my overhead set up while I'm talking. Oh, let me tell the Discord that I'm here. I'm not sure everyone knows. 1 second. I'm so late on videos. So I want to try to get 7 pens, not 7 screens. That's right, Era. Let's see. Konto, no, it seems to be the same Pro Pen, sorry, X3 Pro series. And that's one of the reasons I'm not getting it, is because it's the same pen experience. And not that it's bad, it's just, there's nothing really new for me. I don't need another 16-inch. And based on the reviews from T.O. and Brad, I think we'll discover pretty quickly whether it's good or... And I think it's going to be a great tablet, actually, right? But we'll see from the review. Kay says, is this the hobbyist line? Yeah, this is a consumer line. So under the Cintiq. By the way, I remeasured all my XP Pen pens, so we can take a look at that if anyone's curious. Okay, let me tell the Discord crew that I am live and on camera. Where's Discord? I'm just... Discord. I've lost track of Discord somehow. Oh, it's in front of me. Okay. Let's see. Live and on camera now. Okay, now they know. Full Caper says, is it perhaps something to do with mapping to larger screens? You're talking about why they released it? Yeah, maybe. I think they seem to be going a bit larger these days. Let's see. Full Caper says, can someone tell me why it is some artists have extreme smooth pen motion? That's a good question, Full Caper. Maybe can you point us to a video where you see that? I mean, I feel like I have seen that, but it'll be good to have a reference. Okay, let me get my overhead set up finally. Let's see. Are there lots of people in chat? Well, that's good. That is good. Okay, I'm just waiting for the overhead to kick in because we're gonna need that. Let me check here. Overhead. It's almost like an upside down view right now. There we go, that's better. Let's see if I can, whoops, whoa. So you're not seeing it, but for me it's doing some wild things. There we go, it's a little bit better now. Okay, just to show you what I'm seeing. You can see, oops, that's not what you want to see. There we go, that's the overhead. There's the, my Mac is over there. So let's clear some space. I don't need this keyboard since I'm not going to type on it. Let me move this Pro Pen 3 out of the way. I will need it later because we're going to test the Move Ink. We're going to just compare maybe a few things. Okay. So let's get the box. And keep me honest, sometimes I rush through the unboxing and people are upset at me. So I'm going to try to be a little more careful this time. Let's see, I need a better look. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so first of all, it's not an optical illusion. You're actually seeing color here. It's the first splash of color I've seen in a Wacom tablet in forever. They've just gone to black and, well, just black ink. But now there's a little bit of blue and a little bit of red and a little bit of maybe green. Hey, I'll take any amount of color I can get. Wacom 114, pen display, écran interactive. I suppose that means screen. I suppose this is French. This must be interactive screen, I guess. Pen display. Nothing too special. Nothing, right? Nothing really interesting on the box per se. It's just pretty plain. Let's see if I can open it up. Oh, how do you open it up? Okay, I need to cut something here. Okay, hey, it's a single rainbow Skittle. One of our very active Discord users is here. Eco-friendly colors. Hey, look, the brand that's doing the most beautiful covers right now, or boxes, is XP Pen, and I want to recognize them for that. They won my drawing. Remember, I had my awards show, I think early this year, at the end of last year, and they won my best packaging award, right? Because it's just they do beautiful stuff, and they put the name of the artist on the box, which I think is a very nice gesture. So, a couple of thoughts. I feel like I'm just looking at it. It definitely is bigger than the 13 Touch. And it feels thinner, though that may just be an optical illusion. What do you call it? The bezels look shorter too. I'll bring the 13 Touch over, we'll take a look. Right? Got a nice anti-glare. You're seeing more glare than I am, by the way. It's not as bright coming off the glass. Okay. So let me move this shroud of pen displays over. Let's just see what's in the box, since this is technically an unboxing. Well, we get a pen. This is obviously the CP923, what Wacom calls the Wacom 1 standard pen. And it is wrapped in some paper, which is a little more difficult to get off than I thought. This paper is tightly bound to the pen. In fact, it's kind of uncomfortably... I'm having to rip this off, so not quite as elegant. It's not glued onto the pen, but it's very tightly wound. Okay, yeah, the standard Wacom 1 CP923 Wacom 1 standard pen. You may not be able to see it, but there's like a rocker switch, so it's 2 buttons. Nothing unusual. You can unscrew this. What do we get? Nothing, as a matter of fact. I thought this is supposed to have... There's no nibs in the pen. You can change this for other colors, but other than that, nothing unusual about it. Okay, so I'll put this off on the side. What else is in the box? Quick start guide. Nothing too unusual here. Let's see. Let's take a quick look at what's in here. It shows the OSD on. There's a USB cable. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. We do get a cable, which is nice. Okay, here's a what is this? Some kind of other thing here. Pen, what do you call it? Nib remover is here. I'm gonna take all this stuff out. And then I believe we get, there's some nibs here. If I see, there's 3 of them in there. There are 3 nibs in there. Okay. And then there's the cable. I am going to use the cable. Actually, I'm not going to use the cable. I'm going to use a different cable, but there is a USB. No, I'll use this cable. I'll be correct. Normally, I use a Thunderbolt 3 cable, but I always advise people to use the cable that comes with the product first, because you never know. Sometimes tablets, especially Wacom ones, seem sensitive to which cable is used. Albert, you're already thinking about getting one of these? Look, I think this is going to be... Let's see. This looks like it's not quite 2 meters. It's not 2 meters. I think it's less than that. I could be wrong. More like a 1.5 meters. Is it lighter than the Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3? We can find that out. I have the box over there. I'll go get it. And Tab Ultra. Well, we'll do all those comparisons. Everyone's got a lot of questions. Let me just verify there's nothing else in here. Okay. Give me a second. Let me go get a couple of other things, because I think there's a lot of questions about sizes and comparison. So give me a second, because we'll do some comparisons. Okay. I've unpacked it. Let me get it out of the way. And just one moment, I'll go get some comparison, some devices to compare with. Okay, right back. Okay, I am back, and now we have some things to compare it with. Let's see. First, let's get this one. This is the Samsung S11 Ultra, because I think Haro was asking about it. There it is. Okay, but it looks pretty. This is, let me lay it on top. It's a little bit wider, just maybe half an inch, and half an inch less tall, which makes sense because this is like a 16 by 9. This is like a 16 by 10. Okay? So I think that's one. Next thing, just to briefly show you, and I'm going to keep these around because I know people are going to have questions. One second. This is the Wacom 113 from 2019, DTC-133. You can tell it is because it's got, like the ZZ Top song, it's got legs. It's got legs. No one remembers that reference, but that's okay. That was a very famous song back in the 80s. It was called She's Got Legs. So this one has legs. So, first of all, this is thicker. This older model is thicker. This is definitely thinner. I don't know if you can see it, but it's definitely a little bit, not super thin. It's not like a move ink, but it's thinner, okay? So that's interesting, right? What does this tell you? This is 14 inches display. This is 13.3. It tells you the bezel size has shrunk, okay? We don't even need to see the display. We'll turn it on, but like the bezels are as, you know, let me just put it on my pen here. The bezels are like this wide, right? That wide on my pen. On this one, the bezels are like this, right? So it's about maybe less than half, maybe a third of the size of the very old Wacom 113.3. Okay, and then this is the Wacom 113 Touch. And if I can't remember, this one costs $500 something. Okay, the bezel is about, you can't see it so clearly maybe, but you might be able to see it if I align these correctly. Okay, I'll just tell you. The bezel here is about half the width on the right and left, and it's like 1/4 the width on the bottom. Like it's much smaller here than here. Okay, and of course the top is very small as well. So this is the 14-inch moving Wacom 1. I tell you right now, they're the same width. They're the same width. It's actually not as tall as the old DTH-134. This is the Wacom 113 Touch, right? So this is noticeably smaller, right? Same width, not as tall. Can you see it? Not as tall. Okay. The new one's this one. Okay. And a couple of other things that are interesting to note here. So I'll compare these two. The old Wacom 113 Touch has 2 ports up here, USB-C ports, and some buttons here. And on this one, this is curious. This is curious. There's only 1 port, and there's just 2 buttons here. Okay, so that's a change. That is definitely a change. There's no legs, which I'm a little disappointed with. Other than that, it's a flat surface. Nothing unusual here. These little rubber, whatever these things are called, they're the same. It's probably a little more rubbery here, but not as tall as here. Okay, I don't think that matters, but I just want you to know those are the differences that I observe. Okay, and okay, let me move one more tablet out of the way. Why don't we start using it? How's that? Okay, let me take a look at the chat. Oh, that Canvas 13. Yeah, someone wanted me to compare that. I bring up the Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3. Let's take a look. Remember the Gen 3 from Huion has buttons. So, it's obviously a little wider. So, they're the same height. And if you were to remove the buttons, they're actually almost the same width. With the buttons, it sticks out a bit more. Okay? The bezels on the Canvas 13 Gen 3 are a bit bigger. Maybe twice as big, let's say. And that makes sense because this is actually a bigger display than this by like at least half an inch. I think the Canvas 13 is more like 13.3. So it should be like 0.7 inches, whatever that is in millimeters. Okay, why don't we start using the tablet, huh? Oh, let me just check the comments. A single rainbow Skittle. Yeah, you'll need an adapter. I have the adapter somewhere. I'll show it to you. I'll demonstrate it. Throw all the questions, yes. Yes, and I have the 3-in-1 cable. Yes, the 3-in-1 cable does not come with the tablet. It does not come with the tablet. Okay? We gotta... I'll find it later, but we'll test it out. Let's see. You like that, Kay? Debezeled. Yes, yes, yes. Bezel gang in shambles. XP Pen is making up for bezels. XP Pen is bringing, everyone else is, everyone is losing the bezels. XP Pen has found the bezels. Yeah, Hera, it's a little weird. It's unusual to require extra power for a 13-inch. But, so maybe it'll be okay. And I guess if you need the extra power, you should use a 3-in-1 cable. But that's okay. Yeah, well, Eddie, we'll take a look at the Wacom. We'll test it out. Is there a big difference between the Wacom 1 pen? The pressure levels, they're the same, if I recall. And remember, pressure levels don't matter, Eddie. Pressure levels are just artificial constraints. And they're not created by the pen. They're really created by the tablet, as far as we know. The cable is expensive. The cable is expensive. Yes. Infinite Pi, lots of people feel that way. That it would make the bezels would make a more comfortable drawing experience. I'm kind of okay with smaller bezels these days. It took me some time to adapt to smaller bezels, but I'm okay there. Okay, let's try the tablet before I keep yapping. Okay. Yeah, Hera, that's a good point. You may need to get extra power if you want to use it with the phone. So this may not be the right tablet if you want to use it with a phone, because a phone will not really provide enough power for this. Okay, let's just see what happens. We're going to try another experiment as well. We'll see. Hang on. Let's plug this thing in. Oh, that's my MacBook, M3 MacBook Pro. Yeah. Where's the... Okay. I don't know even which way is up or down with this tablet right now. We'll find out in a second. Okay, so the port's on the left, which is unusual. Oops, I turned it off. Okay. There, I turned it. Okay, can you see it? Let me zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in. Okay, so it's just a very dark screen, so don't worry too much about that. I will say it has a decent anti-glare. You're seeing more glare than I am. It's much more intense on camera than it is in my eyes. So first of all, it's a 1080p display, so it's full HD. What's my first thing I do? I look for... So the pixels are well delineated. I mean, I can see the pixel edges. There's no fuzziness. There's... Let me move something that's bright over. Okay, I'll just move the... Let me skip this thing. I installed the latest driver already. Oops, where is it? Hang on. I gotta adjust the displays of my screen here. Okay, everyone can still hear me? Okay, great. Let's see, displays. 1 second. I want this to mirror this. Okay, so let me just test this out to make sure it's doing what I think it's doing. Let's see, one of these should do it. Oops, not quite what I wanted. Okay, see, yeah, you're seeing my hand, right? And I think I can flip that actually. This isn't showing exactly what I wanted, so give me a second. That, oh, I see what it's doing. I see what it's doing. I understand. Okay. Yeah, this is good enough. So you're seeing me there. Where's the other view? Okay, I'll just have to deal with these two views. So, I'm looking now for anti-glare sparkle. I would say there's a very tiny amount here. It's not super low, but it's on the low end, I would say. So it's fine. Again, you're gonna have to put your eye up like this to see the sparkle, right? And Wacom is pretty good with anti-glare sparkle. So this is normal for Wacom. Yeah, I would say it's low. I would say it's low. You see more slightly brightness variation than like rainbow. It's just very slight. Not as good as a Cintiq Pro, but it's good. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let's hope it doesn't get. Let's see. I think this is okay resolution. Honestly, I was a little bit concerned that this would. It's actually okay. It's actually okay. I like this, right? Some people will want the next resolution up instead of full HD, but this is fine. Actually, this is convenient and it looks nice. And let's take a look at the pen. And I'll just do my basic tests here, okay? Let's see. Let's look at corner, sort of like how accurate it is. It is, sorry, I know you're just one. I will say it tracks the pen position pretty closely. Like all pen displays at the last like 2 millimeters, there'll be a little bit of deviation, but other than that, it is pretty accurate. Okay. What about tilt compensation? Wacom is always excellent tilt compensation, by the way. Let's see, probably there's a better view than this. Yeah. Tilt compensation is, wow, it's actually really good in the center. And let's just try it in the corners here. Let me increase the size here. It'll be easier for me to see. Really good tilt compensation so far. I mean, even at pretty extreme angles, it is. Wacom does this right. I mean, they're extremely good at this. So yeah, I would call this excellent tilt compensation. It's a little deviate. No, that's excellent. I was at a super crazy angle. Yeah, it's excellent. Tilt compensation is excellent. Okay. And now we get to the part we're all wondering about, which is how is that pressure? Now, before I begin, remember that this tablet is this tablet has 4,000 pressure levels, and let me just repeat this again. You don't need really more than 2,000. Yeah, you can construct some situation where you might notice, but like, I think you have to construct that case, and it's not easy to find that case. I think 2,000 will serve you. This has 4,000, so you don't need to worry about it. Okay. Let me just talk about so we don't need to care about pressure levels. It's fine. Remember, I could reduce this pressure level down to 500 and you wouldn't even notice if you know. So now I'm drawing. Let me sort of explain to you what I'm trying to do here. I've got the G pen and I want the opacity. Let's just verify how the pressure is being mapped. Okay, I was doing some crazy things with the pressure curve, so let me just make that the normal. While we're at it, let's take a look at the Wacom center. So you see it, Wacom 114. Let's make sure the pen pressures, they never show the graph here for some insane reason, but it's a default. Let me see if it's on advanced. No, they don't show it here either. Okay. That's always a disappointment that they don't show that pressure curve graph. Okay, and I actually have a couple of Samsung S Pens here. And let's see, yeah. I'm just thinking about the pressure. And I'm just dragging lightly the pen on the surface here. Why isn't that getting, let me pick a different pen or reset this G pen. Hang on one second. Reset all settings to default. Okay. Yeah, I want that. Now I'll get a larger brush size. It'll be easier for you to see what I'm doing that way. Okay. Let's delete that. So I'm just dragging the pen. I'm moving it back and forth. You're not seeing anything drawing because nothing's drawing, okay? And I can feel the glass sliding underneath here. It's not super heavily textured or anything. There's just a very light texture. I think a Cintiq would probably have more. Now you're seeing some strokes, okay? When you're using a Move Ink or a Cintiq, this movement will cause strokes, okay? You're seeing intermittent strokes. What does that mean? The IF is high, okay? So the IF is typical for what Wacom does, okay? It looks cramped to you, Hera. I will try the CP913. Yes, Hera, I will do that, absolutely. Okay, so this is typical for CP923. It's very typical, okay? So let me get the CP923, or sorry, 913 that Hera's talking about. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back, and I have the Move Ink with me as well. I just want to show you what the Move Ink is like on top of it. The Move Ink is almost the same height, a little bit, just a couple of millimeters taller, and not quite as wide, okay? And of course the Move Ink is, well, take a look how thin the Move Ink is in comparison, right? It's like 1/4 the width, or the thickness, I should say, okay? Screen is very similar in size. Okay, I'm gonna move the Move Ink out of the way. Hi, Cami Luna, good to see you as always. Okay, so before I get to CP9213, let me just do a little bit of CP923. Always appreciate when you can stop by, Cami Luna. I'm going to test a few more of the older CP923s. This is an S Pen. Sorry, this is an S Pen. I'm up in the air. I still think it feels better to use sometimes the S Pen. Sorry, I don't know why I keep putting the S Pens down here. So obviously the S Pens do work for this tablet. Where are my 923s? Sorry. Okay, Wacom 1 standard pen, 923s. Yeah, they're very similar. They all have a relatively high IAF. Okay, a little bit of variance, so nothing surprising here. I didn't expect the IAF is part of the physical part of the pen. So this pen has this specific one has a little bit of a lower IAF, little bit. Okay. Remember, don't pay attention to the thickness of the strokes. We're just trying to understand if a stroke is getting drawn at all, okay? Okay, so that's the 923s, nothing too surprising. Let's try some 913s. The question being here, some people like the 913s instead of the 923s. Where is it? Oh, here we go. Okay, so I have 4 of these units. Some people think, I'm gonna make the brush bigger so it's just more obvious when there's a stroke, okay? And remember, there's variance across each pen. If I had to guess, the specific 913s have very similar IAF, maybe slightly lower, but I'm not, it's hard to say unit by unit, right? Because I have 4 units I'm testing here. I do think there's just they're in general slightly lower, but I wouldn't like bet on it. But that's been my experience overall. And lots of people prefer drawing with a 913 pen with Samsung devices. Now, one thing I'll say is the 913 pen only has 1 button. I don't know if you can see it. The 923 has 2 buttons and a rocker switch. Okay, so now we're gonna test. This was the complaint I had with the Wacom 1 pen tablets. They had weird pressure wobble. Now I don't know if I'm gonna see that here. Let's see. I'll try the pen that came with the tablet. So I'm going from thick to thin. Now the pressure wobble came at extremely low pressure, so we have to try toward the IAF here. Remember, some amount of pressure wobble is due to the human, meaning me, and some is due to the machine, the tablet or the pen. Let me try my tablet testing tool. I'm going to eliminate my hand as the source of problems. Okay. And how do I do that? I do that by, actually let me close this window, by turning on these advanced features. I'm going to turn position smoothing to max, but pressure smoothing is not going to be processed. So now that that's on, let's just see. Remember, pressure is not being smoothed. Now the edges of the stroke will look rough. That's me, not the tablet. Let me reduce some of that position smoothing actually. I'm not seeing that pressure pulsation. This variance in pressure is pretty normal. To me, it looks fine. I don't see any weird problems with it. Does everyone know what I mean by pressure wobble? Let me make sure you know, because if you haven't seen it, then it's going to be weird. Okay, let me go get to my website here. Hera, it was never that bad with the Wacom One pen displays. It was really a problem with the Wacom pen tablets, and they did improve it on the pen tablets, so maybe it's gone completely. Now, okay, hang on a second. Let me find this. Where is it? Wacom One. Yeah, let's see if I can. So here, oh, you're not seeing the screen the way I'm seeing it. Hang on. Okay, you see what's going on here? This is with the Wacom 113 DTH-13, Wacom 113 Touch, right? And you'd see some weird things happen, okay? That the stroke quality wasn't good compared to the older DTC-133, right? And if you remember, I have this video called, let's find it here, 7 pence. Let's take a look at my channel here. And somewhere here I have Wacom 1. Now again, the problems were with the pen tablets. And actually, they had an improvement to the pressure handling here. I'm just gonna scroll through the video so you can see the problems, okay? You see right there? You see this weird pulsing effect right there? That was a problem that you'd see with the old, yeah, here we go, look at that. It's pulsing in a very regular pattern. See how it's getting thinner in these bands? And these prominent, and look at this one. It's kind of a pulse and it sort of pinches off a little bit. It was weird stuff, weird stuff. And they sort of addressed it for the most part. Here's a comparison, right? See how bad it is, right? Compared to an Intuos Pro over here. You see the pulsing? See how it's in bands too? So I'm not seeing that right now. It could be that I'm gonna see it later, but I don't see it. Let's test it out though. Let's draw some lines in band. Remember, you have to do it in low pressure. So remember, you're not just looking for the stroke going thick or thin. You're looking for repeating patterns. So far, everything you're seeing, I think I'm causing, okay? So don't look at the stroke and think, oh, wow, this looks bad. That's me. But if you detect a horizontal pattern, which I don't see it, I don't see any horizontal patterns at all. So in terms of stroke quality, this is fine. IF, max pressure is whatever it normally is, right? So actually, now that I'm on that topic, this is the thinnest stroke I can draw, and this is the thickest, right? So it's got a, I'm able to go from thick to thin with a rather big brush. So it looks good, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, let me take a look at the chat. Konto, kid, what's a computer? I keep hearing this, that kids don't know how computers work these days. Let's see. Hey, Nizio, Martin, nice to see you. Let's see. Imagine learning how to counteract pressure wobble by timing. Yeah, I guess if you were really that good, you could do it. This might suit your needs, a single rainbow skittle. Now again, the IAF is not great, Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. The IF is not great. But it's fine. I don't see the pressure wobble. And again, I didn't see this pressure wobble strongly the last time. But one of the reasons I didn't really push the the Wacom 113 touches, it's really expensive. It's really, really expensive. This is, I believe, $300. Okay. Would this be a good starter tablet? Actually, I think it would. The pen is cheap. It's like $30 or $40 compared to the $130 for Wacom Pro Pen 2. But I think this is going to be a fine starter tablet, right? I would have no problem, I think, right now, saying this would be a good choice for someone if you had to buy a present or it's your first tablet ever. I think it'd be fine. Okay, let me see what else we want to test here. We did tilt compensation, we did AG sparkle, we did pressure, we did accuracy, right? Let me do a few more tests here to see if there's anything weird with tilt. Okay, as you know, I have some very specific tools I use for measuring tilt. Actually, before I do that, let me, I'm gonna change the resolution so that everything's not quite as big. Let's see, I want this, and I want it to be more like, I'm gonna switch it to maybe not quite so. Okay, there we go. That's a bit easier for me to deal with. Okay, there we go. Let's get to the pressure tester here. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to, translate pressure into color. Oh, not, yeah. We're going to see if there's anything weird. It's, okay. So remember, the size is going to be constant, okay? But the color will change by pressure. We're going to see if there's anything weird that happens. As it gets red, I'm pressing hard. As it's greenish, that's very low pressure. So nothing weird. I don't notice anything really weird. Right? Now you're seeing some banding. That's normal. It has nothing to do with 4,000 pressure levels. That has to do with how many data points per second the API for getting pen data works in the browser. Okay, so this is normal. This is normal. There's nothing unusual about this. I'd get the same effect, and I'll prove it to you with like a Pro Pen 2, okay? With the moving, so that's fine. So now I'm gonna take a look at tilt. I'm gonna map the tilt altitude. Altitude means how high the the top is, right? Like this, altitude. To the color is gonna be controlled by that height. And what you do is you go up and down. Do I see anything unusual? Remember, don't pay attention to the thickness. Oops, don't scale. I had this set wrong. Tilt altitude, there we go. Don't pay attention to thickness. It's just the color and how smoothly it moves. Right, as I change the tilt from low to high. Right? So everything looks smooth, that's fine. Let's check tilt azimuth, which should also be fine. That's the north-south angle. North, south, east, west. Looks fine. Nice and smooth. You probably noticed an abrupt transition here. That's not really, that's not a problem with the pen. Two things going on here, this abrupt transition. That's just the colors are cycling quickly. I should have picked better colors. And I'm flipping it around pretty quick in that zone. So if I don't move it as fast, it won't be as abrupt. So don't worry about that. So this is good. Nothing weird is going on with the tilt. Okay, so that's fantastic. Is the display etched glass or screen protector? Good question, Nizio. Let's take a look here. It looks to be etched glass. I don't see any protector, but for this question, it's a very good question. So let's go and make sure. Wacom 114. Let me find the specs for this thing. Let's double check, okay? trying to scroll down and I'm having problems. So yeah, it's anti-glare, anti-fingerprint glass. So it's etched glass. It's not a, what do you call it? It's not a protector. By the way, I think that, just by the way, the protector on the old Wacom 113 was the original one. It was not meant to be removed. And if you do get this tablet, if you're concerned about scratching the glass, some people scratch the glass somehow, I don't know why. Consider getting a third-party screen protector. I don't think Wacom sells one. I'm looking at the optional accessories. And they do not sell anything like a protector. But if you go to Photodon, you can find one. Here's some specs here. Brightness, 280 nits. Response time, 16 milliseconds. sRGB, 98%, so pretty normal. Anything else interesting here? Pen resolution is like 2500, but that's fine. No touch. Contrast ratio is pretty typical. Oh, viewing angles. Let's test it out. Hang on. Okay, so do I notice? We're gonna see. I'm gonna look, and you're gonna look, and we're gonna compare what our eyes see. Oops, I clicked on something. Let me. Hang on. I clicked on something I didn't mean to click on. Okay. So I'm not seeing color shifts. In fact, I see very little color shift. Can you see it? I don't. I'm both to my eyes and in camera. I think it's pretty good. You're seeing it get bright here because of course there's more light, but like, yeah, color's not shifting. That's actually really good. Everyone agree with me? That's right, Albert. The original 13 also has no tilt, right? Okay, so I keep there's two buttons here, which I forget what they do. So let me take a look. Oh, I see. The top, I think the button toward the bottom is the OSD menu, and the one toward the top is the on-off. Okay, fine. So let's try. We're gonna do a couple of things here. Let me just let me cancel here. Okay, we're gonna hit the lower button. Okay. Now there's two buttons here. I'm gonna hit this one. That turns on the OSD. You just saw it flicker for a second. Let me hit cancel here. Okay, this gets a little confusing. Let me zoom in because you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Okay, so remember this, I'm pressing the lower button, okay? To cancel this is why I like touch. There's no touch here, so I have to press cancel here. I'm pressing the lower button, watch what happens. I'm pressing it just one time. Click. You see that? It comes up with something, then it switches to this. Okay, don't know why that happens. I'm gonna hit OK, and now we get back to the normal OSD. So this is it. Looks like 50% brightness. I'm gonna increase the brightness all the way to 100%. Yeah, it got brighter. It was fine for me to use at 50, to be quite honest, right? Yeah, Kanto, if this had the Pro Pen, it would be, yeah, it would be amazing. Seriously, it would. And I think this, again, speaks to the challenge Wacom has, right? Camiluna, yes, the angles did look very good. Let's take a look at the display settings here. And for this, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit. We just have brightness and contrast and the mode. What do we have for mode here? Native, sRGB, and custom. Let me switch to sRGB. Okay, with sRGB I can control the brightness, but not this contrast. With custom, I get all this stuff. Okay, we'll take a look here. Right now that I'm custom, we get brightness, color space, we get color temperature, we get, what's advanced here? Oh, RGB, oh, I can change these. See that? Okay, I set this back to 128. I don't recall the old one having this. It might have had. I'm gonna go ahead and just reset this. Yeah, I'm sure I wanted to set. Okay. Let's go back. Other settings. Language. Sure. Menu transparency. I like it a little less transparent, to be quite honest. LED luminance, power button, pen side switch. Oh, I didn't. That's interesting. It can control what this pen switch does. Power button. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. Rain, the IAF was typical for these Wacom consumer pens, so it's clearly higher than what you'd get out of a Pro Pen 2. Okay, so if you're used to a Pro Pen, you wouldn't enjoy using this. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm gonna turn the power button to power display off. What does this mean? Okay, you see me moving here, right? Okay, now I'm gonna click the power button, which is the top button. Watch what happens. Oops, it's not doing anything. Okay, I held it down and it's off. Okay, this doesn't look very exciting. That's okay. We're gonna see if this works the way I think it does. No, okay, maybe I didn't do what I did. I'm trying to get the screen off, but the pen's still working. So let's try that again. Yeah, I thought this would just turn off the display, but it actually just... Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not moving here. It's hard for you to understand what I'm doing here. Let me do one more thing. This view is messed up. So, oh, I see what's going on. Let me move this thing out of the way here. Oops. I'm messing everything up today. There we go. Let me move this out of the way. Okay. So what you're seeing here is the screen is off. I was hoping I could turn off the display and draw like that. There's a way to do it, but apparently it's not as easy as just pressing a button. So let me turn the screen back on. But a single rainbow skittle, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try a different way of doing it, okay? Let me reset the power thing. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is, let's see, the display thing just turns off the display and pen stuff. But the problem is that it turns off the pen stuff, okay? Hi, Mir. You're on vacation? Thanks for joining us. Windows does the thing where it moves Windows. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And nothing weird happened here when I did that. That was interesting. I'm going to try a new way of doing it, or another way. I'm going to go to System Settings. Not everyone knows you can do this, but let's go there. And I believe I can go to display. It is very easy to do on Windows. Let's see if I can do it with this thing. Wacom 1. Let me stop mirroring first. Okay, so don't worry. We're just seeing some stuff here. I'm going to try to... I know it's harder to see when I'm zoomed in like this. So let's zoom out so it's more clear. I'm going to change the... On the Mac, is there a way to say don't use this monitor? Like disconnect? I don't see it. I'm clicking under advanced. Let let me quickly search for this. This is actually intriguing for me. Since I want you to see what I'm doing. Let me do... Yeah, okay, hang on. I'm gonna search. Super Display has that option. Let me do a quick search here. Okay. Mac OS, don't use monitor. No. See, in Windows, you can actually say don't. Okay, they don't have this option. Okay, I'll have to remember this. That's too bad. I do have better, I have better display? Oh no, I don't have it installed on this machine. Okay, whatever. So it's not quite as easy to use as a pen display, which is sad. Okay, let's go back to mirroring again. Okay, and let me just double check the mirroring is working. Yeah, it is. Okay. Okay, Hera, thanks for stopping by as always. I appreciate it. Let me do my arrange real quick. And there we go. Done. Okay. Use a 3-in-1 cable? Sure. Happy to do that. Give me a second. Let me go find it. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and I have the 3-in-1 cable, and yeah, here it is. Now, just to everyone's be clear, there's a 3-in-1 cable for the old 2019 Wacom one. This is the 3-in-1 cable for the new Wacom One 2023 tablets. Let me test it out. I think Hera was asking me to test this out with the Move Ink last night, and it worked with as long as I could give it external power for the Move Ink. Okay, so you need to see what's going on here. So let's zoom out here. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect the supplied USB-C cable. Okay, and move it over here. And then this 3-in-1 cable has several things it needs. First of all, there's the HDMI. Then there's this is power. I'm not going to put it in quite yet. It needs data. Now this is a USB-A, okay? So it won't fit in my Mac. So I'm going to plug it in. The Mac itself is plugged into this dock. So I'm going to plug it into the dock. Okay. So that's for data. Now it needs power. Now the 3-in-1 cable does not come with a adapter, and so I'm going to just plug it into the same dock. Okay. Hopefully it'll provide enough power. Some docks don't. I can't actually remember if that port provides enough power. Let's take a look. Frankly, I think they should have had 2 USB-C ports. I'm pressing the power button. Okay, so my dock, that port is not providing enough power for this, okay? That's fine. Let me try another port. Not enough power. Okay, we're going to try another port. I can try, Mirror, I can try it out. I think it's the same. It's just bigger and it doesn't have touch. Other than that, it's the same. Okay, I have another power thing. I'm gonna plug it in, you can't see it. Okay, I've got a slight problem here. Nothing I'm plugging it into is delivering enough power, or it just isn't charging. Trying one more thing here. Okay, I'm going to try finally plugging it right into the MacBook. Okay, okay, let me just try this. I'm just gonna flip the cable. Okay, who knows? Sometimes flipping the cable works. Not enough. It's just not turning on. So, what's going on there? What's going on there? Let's take a look. I'm going to go back here and we're going to go to Wacom 1, pen display, or Wacom 114. Let's take a look at the accessories. Oh, am I just wrong? Am I just wrong here? Hang on, move this window. Okay. Where's accessories? Actually, let me go to specifications. That's a bit easier. Oh no. They don't list the... Okay, let me explain this. This is weird. Okay, I need to take a quick bio break and I'll be right back, okay? Because there's something weird here, actually. Right back. Okay, I am back. Mir has a question. Am I going to buy the 16-inch XP pen? I'm not going to do it. It's just, I don't need one. And, I think if you look at the written review by Tio, which I pasted earlier in the chat, he'll probably tell you everything you need to know about that tablet. I've measured the pens, so the pens are good. And I think this tablet's probably going to be great. So if Tio or Brad or whoever else can say all the other basics are working, like accuracy and tilt compensation, then we're fine. I think it's going to be a fine tablet for people to buy. Okay, let me try to explain now what's going on. There's something weird. Okay, let's go back in time. And let's just talk about the Wacom 1 DTC. Let's get the full story here, okay? This is the Gen 1 Wacom 1, okay? This is the one that came out in 2019. Let's take a look at the specifications, and I just want you to see this one part. Okay, first of all, it included this thing called the Wacom 1 X-shaped cable. That's a specific name for a 3-in-1 cable, okay? And it's listed here, okay? And in fact, let me write this down in a OneNote. Show notes, yeah, let's just do this. While I'm at it, I'll add some of the things I did add already. 2025, what is it, 09, what's the date, 29, okay. So, 3-in-1 cable, not included, okay? So let's just talk about cabling, okay? USB-C, included, okay? And it works. So, here's the fact. Wacom 1, 2019, DTC-133. They were compatible with this thing, the Wacom 1 X-shaped cable, okay? Then we have the Wacom 1 13 Touch, okay? DTH-134, I believe, okay? Let's take a look what it says. .113 Touch, DTH-134. It's important we write this down because it's so confusing. And people will make a mistake. So I don't want people to make a mistake. I think it's 134. I mean, maybe it's getting confused by the model number here. Okay, this should be it. Where's the specs? Oh. Wacom 1. This is the 14-inch. I want the other one. Wacom. They don't even list them. Oh. Where are they? Okay. They're like putting the 14 almost like a different category, which is confusing. That's okay. We can... That's weird, is what it is. Okay. This one works with the Wacom 1 3-in-1 cable. Okay? So that's different. Okay, that's a different cable. And I know you're probably wondering which one is it. Let's get the model number here. It's this one. Okay? Now, what does the Wacom 114 work with? This is the DTC-141. Now we get some stories here. This is the 141, is that correct? Yeah, this is... Look at this. It works with this thing. So this is a surprise. They don't list a 3-in-1 cable. You're having heartburn? Well, you're about to get a little more heartburn, my friend. This is the Wacom 1 converter. It's a little box, okay? It has 3 ports on one side, okay? It has HDMI, it has USB for data. Though I think you could, if this is video, you could use that one. It has one USB-C for power, and this one goes to the tablet, okay? It doesn't come with those cables. You just get this box. How much is the box? It's $80. This box is $80 and it comes with no cables. And apparently, I'm gonna need to use this to connect this computer to the tablet if I want to use HDMI. Okay? So that's $80. Because this cable does not work, right? Well, this will not work with DTC-141. Oops, you can't see what I'm typing. This cable does not work with DTC-141. I tested, you saw me do that live. Now we're going to have to test this thing, which is $80. Okay? Potentially, we'll try that. Let's try that first. How's that? Okay? Let me disconnect the 3-in-1 cable here. Classic money thing. Yes, full cable. It is. This is I think cabling is the last complication I want to deal with as a user, okay? And I know it gets people frustrated. Okay. So, how is this going to work? I got to figure this out. First, let's try to see if we can answer this question. Can this be used to connect it? I'm going to use the full-featured USB-C cable that came with the tablet. Okay. And I'm going to connect this part now. Oops, you can't see it. You can't see it. Right, here's the converter that came with no cables. I'm using the cable that came with the Wacom 114 to attach to the converter. Okay, so obviously nothing's happening there. Somewhere here I have another cable, which let me be careful here. There's lots of devices everywhere. I don't want to drop it. Sorry. I need to get these cables. I just need to unplug something here. Okay. Sneezing. Okay, now this is power. Okay, that should be a lot of power. And does this tablet do anything? Not yet, because I haven't connected it to the Mac yet. Let's see if I can. There's another cable buried somewhere here. So I'm going through a dock right now, so it's going to be a little weird to see this. Okay, now this cable goes to the Mac. Okay, so I'm not going to plug the HDMI. Let's see if anything happens. Like, this Wacom Center even realize this tablet is plugged in? It does think the tablet's plugged in, which is weird. You can see it right there. It says Wacom 114. Let me unplug it. Okay, so it does realize the tablet's there. That's interesting. Does the pen work? Pen does not work. Oh, it does. Now it does. Okay. So, that is good. That's good. Can I control the there's only one display here. Oh, I know what I can do. Hang on. This is gonna look weird. Give me one more moment. Be right back. I've got another Thunderbolt cable. I just want to make sure that this can be used like a pen tablet with this display. Because right now it's being mapped to this. Do I have control over mapping? We're about to find out. If this delivers enough power. Which I hope it does. Sometimes the MoveInk, honestly, is a little bit sensitive to which cable is being used, so I may have to try to find another cable. Okay, it's powered on. Okay, so does the Wacom one, oops, where's my mouse? The question is, can I draw on this and have the mouse move here? And the answer to that question is, I gotta find where though. The answer is, I think, yes, but I can't force it to just one of the monitors. I'm gonna see if I can select the pen. There's no mapping tab, right? That's the issue. I'm gonna set the top button too. Let's see. Navigation, no. I want to toggle display toggle. Display toggle. Okay, there we go. So, you may not be able to see this. I'll have to tell you. The mouse is being moved here. I'm going to click on the top button. Okay, so the answer is, you see it, use it like a pen tablet, but you have to use display toggle to switch between, right? There, and now it's here. There, and now it's here. Okay? Does that answer your question, a single rainbow skittle? Now, I need one more cable to make this actually work like a normal pen display. One moment. Okay, I'm back and now I have an HDMI cable. So now I'm going to plug that into the converter. And the converter is underneath another cable. So yeah, here we go. Here's the converter. And then I'm going to plug it in here. And then this goes into the MacBook. This is such a wild journey. Okay, so it sees this. There we go. Okay, so it works. Can you see it? It actually did the right thing. So you can't use the 3-in-1 cable, but you can use this $80 Wacom box and buy a bunch of cables, which will probably end up costing you over $100 to get this to work with a computer that needs to use HDMI. This may not be the right choice for people then, if you want to connect via HDMI. So I am afraid people are going to maybe buy this because it's $300 and then they're going to discover after they buy it, they can't use it. Many people don't have the USB-C ports needed to use this thing correctly, okay? Many people don't. They can't reuse any existing cables they have to use this. I think people are going to be irritated by that. But if you don't have the situation, you don't have to worry about it. No way to turn on force proportion. Oh, good question. Let's try that out, okay? I'm going to unplug this. And let's see. That's a good question. That's a good question. Oh, forget, Macs don't have touch. Yeah, there doesn't look a way to do force proportions. And let me see if do I have anything. Yeah, I do have something circular. So that's a good point. Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not going to work. Let's go ahead and get the tester here. Let me zoom in maybe a little bit. That's weird. It's you see I'm drawing, but I can't draw in some sense. Okay, it's very distorted. I'm having trouble drawing because almost like this this piece of metal is actually interfering with the pen. But I can kind of trace around it. But it's clearly not a circle. Okay, it's distorted. It's distorted. So unfortunately, we can kind of use it like a pen tablet, but not really because you don't get force proportions. Thank you for asking that. Right. So not a good choice for this. Right. If you want a pen tablet, probably get a pen tablet. Okay. Do I still need... Okay, let's see. There's another question here. Also, the fact that I need to pay $80. Let me move the window here so I can see the comment. Do I still need USB-C to C? Or can you... No, you need USB-C to USB-C. So you need a cable that provides DisplayPort and power and data. And you need a port on your computer that supports the same thing. So that's a pretty high requirement, actually. So I'm going to write this note up. It's very important that people know this. Okay, anything else? Let me just double check to see what other topics I want to talk about here. Oops. 13. I'm just looking at my notes for the Canvas 13 Gen 3. That way I'll know if I missed any topics here. Compatible pens, we covered that. This will be compatible with the CP913, 923, and Samsung S Pen. I drew on that earlier. In fact, let me unplug all this stuff. And I will prove that to you. I'm pretty disappointed that it didn't come with a 3-in-1 cable. It just diminishes, people are going to be frustrated. That's the problem. Lots of people are going to see the price, they're going to see the brand, and they're going to think it works good, and then for some it will, because it'll just plug right in. But some people are not going to be happy because they can't use it the way they expect. Okay, just so everyone does see, I'm trying to drag this over and having limited success. There we go. Okay, so here's some S Pens, and you can see they all work fine, right? Nothing crazy about the S Pen. Nizio asks, is the display... Oh, maybe that's an older comment. Yeah, it's an older comment. I answered that. Knobtron says, what kind of 3-in-1 cable do I need for Artist 14 Pro Gen 2? Knobtron, they sell, XP Pen sells a specific one for that tablet. It probably works with the 16 Pro Gen 2 also, but definitely, you know, there's not like a generic 3-in-1 cable, so you should get the exact one XP Pen sells. You can probably find it on their site, or if you call customer support, that would work as well. Let's see, Tio had a comment. And the MacBook needs to connect to power. Yeah, and I had it connected to power. I did have it connected to power. Oh, okay, Tio, if you want to use only external display with Mac, the MacBook cover needs to close. Got it. Okay, thank you. Because I don't use my Mac that way, so that's good to know. In fact, I'm going to copy and paste that. Because that's actually a good comment. Let me copy that, paste into my show notes. Comment from Tio. Thank you, thank you. And MacBook needs to connect to power. Got it. I copied the text as well. So Mir, I think I answered this already, but yeah, it's not any better than the 13-inch one. Yeah, and if you don't have that USB-C port, this is going to be, there's no point getting this tablet unless you are sure you have a USB-C port that can work with it. Hi, Mako Craft, nice to see you. Yeah, it's, you know, but at the end of it, if someone wants this tablet and has to use HDMI, they're going to end up spending like $450. So it's, when you add that up, it's not a great deal for that reason. That being said, it's a decent beginner tablet if you can connect it, right? I have no problem with that. Like, I'm actually pleased with it. I think it's a reasonable response from Wacom to address this segment of like $300, roughly speaking, 13-inch pen displays. This is fine. If this is going to be a bigger problem in the future for Wacom, I believe, because the Huion Canvas 13 is just a much better deal. How much does it even cost now? Let's take a look here. Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3. And remember, we haven't even hit the holidays. There may be even more discounts. Oops, I want the Canvas Gen 3. Canvas 13 Gen 3. Look, with this, you get the 3-in-1 cable, you don't get the USB-C cable, but it's, even if you added the cable, which should be like $30, this is $225, right? If you add the cable, let's say 30, that'd be $260, let's say, okay? So this is a much better deal for people, and it has a better pen, right? So I think this is, again, if this can connect with the computer, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it, but beyond that, it gets kind of pricey to have this tablet, which is a shame. I don't think the 3-in-1 cable, it should be included. It just should be included, honestly. And I feel like they could have made that price point work. Okay, let me take a look at if there's any other. Hang on. I'm trying to find my notes on the Gen 3, Canvas 13 Gen 3, to see if I missed anything. Here. I like to be complete. Okay. I'm going to write down my notes while I'm doing this so you can see, not that, this one. Okay. So included pen. Wacom 1 standard pen, CP913. So has high IAF. I would guess maybe 3 gram force. That's a guess, right? If people, I did some measurements recently. I can show it to you. Parendev, can you test whether top pens from Wacom Huion XP pen are compatible with? So the Wacom pens, what you'll find is they're not compatible, Parendev. You might notice that maybe sometimes the pen will move the pointer, but the pressure won't work or the buttons won't work. Usually both. So they're not compatible for sure, for sure. I want to show you some data here. Let me get to my GitHub account. And let me get my latest data. Okay. And let me just show you this. I want to show in Finder. Yeah. Let me go up. Where's my GitHub? There we go. This is the tool I vibe coded a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it came with the CP923 MakoCraft, which is just a normal pen, like nothing special with it. Pretty typical Wacom consumer pen. Okay, let me show you the data I collected. I need to get this in Finder again. Wacom CP923. Okay. So let's just take a look at the data. I need this. Yeah, okay. So CP923, their max pressures in the okay range. That's decent, not bad. But their IAF is like a little bit high, okay? And I'll show you some more numbers there in a second. The CP913, right? Do you see that? It's a little bit, let me color it by pen model. CP923 is red, which is the pens that come with this. And the older Wacom 1 pens are in blue. So the older Wacom pens, in my measurements, tend to score a little bit higher in max pressure. At least that's the trend I saw. Also, the fact that the red ones rise really fast means they're a little bit harder to control in pressure. You're going to need to use your pressure curves more extremely for the CP923 than 913 in my measurements. Okay. Just in comparison, people wonder what's a good. Let's compare it to the Wacom Pro Pen 2. Let me do Pro Pen 3 actually. I'm going to randomly pick one. See, Pro Pen 3 in red, in orange. Yeah, Rainbow Skill. We're looking at the excellent range right now. The Wacom Pro Pen 3 ACP 500. Let me drag a few more in there actually. Let's see. There's 2 more, 3 more. Here's another 2. You see how they're all clustered pretty tightly up here, right? And let's talk about the, what do you call it? The Huion PW600 pens. Because you should see some others that are in the excellent range. So here's the PW600s. And I recently remeasured some of these too. So sometimes you can see the same pen model measured twice. See, these are very good, sometimes excellent. That's the, whatever, teal color, right? And here's the X3 Pro pens. Look at this. There's several models here, but they're like, they span between like okay to good, right? That's the purple X3 Pro. So in the excellent range is really the Pro Pen 3, Pro Pen 2. The Huion PW600 touches the excellent range for max pressure, right? People were asking about IAF. I did do some measurements. I am not good at IAF. I want to make sure everyone knows that. I don't claim I'm good. With some pens, I think I'm good. I mean, some pen models. But some pen models seem very difficult for me to measure IAF, okay? Let me show you what I'm talking about. I don't want you to be... I think I put it in here. Let me... I did some measurements of all the CP923s, and you know, I'm getting pretty high IAF, right? Like 5 gram force. Do you see it here? With the CP923. So, and the 913 also. Now, so if you're used to a Pro Pen 2, which has, you know, Cube measures it at less than 1 gram force, I'm not that good. I can't measure it that low. But I just want you to know, like, you know, this is very different from the Pro Pen 2. Let's see, Ben Boykman is here. Coming in, but I need to sleep to go to work. How's the Wacom Pro impression so far? Ben Boykman, which Wacom Pro do you mean? Just to help me out. Are you talking about the Intuos Pro? Or are you talking about the tablet I'm looking at right now? Just help clarify for me, because I want to give you the right answer. You want to see the Pro Pen 2 single rainbow skittle? Let me show you. Okay. Give me a second. Let me find it. Pro Pen 2 is KP504E. Let me drag these in here. Now, one of these is crazy. Okay, it's like defective. Like it's like 3,000. So ignore that one. But it's in the excellent range. Now remember, once you start getting really high in the excellent range, you get into the excessive range. Like you don't need this. The Wacom one. Okay, yeah. Oh, you meant the Wacom one? Sure. I would say the Wacom 114 is a decent tablet. It's a good consumer tablet. I don't have like in essence a problem recommending it. I like the 14-inch size, and the screen's decent. The problem is, if you're used to a Pro Pen or a lower IAF pen, you're not going to like this pen, which is, you know, not old. This is not new news. This is old news. The other thing is this tablet doesn't. If you have to connect with HDMI, this tablet comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable, which is good if your computer works that way, that has a USB-C port that supports it. But if you need to connect with HDMI, you have to buy this, I don't know what it is, this thing. This box called a Wacom converter, which is $80, and it doesn't come with 3 cables that you need. So, or 4 cables that you need. So, the price doesn't make sense if you need to connect with HDMI. You're gonna have to spend another $120 to just work with HDMI. That's not fun. But overall, it's a decent tablet. It's a good consumer tablet. I don't have a problem recommending it right now. I still have to do some more testing, but yeah. Whoever got one similar to that pen must be, yeah. Yeah, this one that's longer is just, it's defective, right? I had to stop measuring at 3,500 gram force because it was about to break my equipment, okay? And I thought I was gonna break the pen. So that's a defective unit. I normally exclude it when I show you these graphs because it's just too crazy, but at least you know what it is, okay? Okay, let me just write down my other notes here. Looking at, one second. High IAF, max pressure is, let's take a look. Max pressure for these is like, it's in the okay range, around 200. This is okay. Single rainbow skittle, you're talking about that one pen? Is that what you mean? When you ask, it just keep getting bigger. What is the best screen resolution for Wacom and 2OS large to get that sweet spot? Screen. I'm trying to understand your question, Full Caber. You're talking about a monitor screen resolution. I don't think the resolution of the monitor matters in relation to the tablet. It's whatever you prefer. I do think it'll help you to have a 16:9 monitor, because then you get the most use of the Intuos Pro. Toucan, it is a decent. I would recommend this as a consumer tablet, but its pen is just okay. It's got higher IAF than Pro Pen. Also, if you need to connect it to HDMI, you have to buy this $80 device that doesn't come with the cable. This converter device. So you got to be sure that you have a USB-C port that can emit DisplayPort, has enough power, and has data. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't have that. Okay. Monitor size, yeah, for a Intuos. Actually, you know what? Let me link it to you, because I actually wrote about this and I made a video about it. Let's see, monitor size. I think I'm always typing in the wrong window. So Full Caber, check out this article. It'll cover, and there's a linked video as well. Best thing I can say is experiment, right? But this is what works for me. You use two 24-inch monitors. Yeah, that'll work fine. I would say for that size, for a pen tablet, I like to use. It's about a 15-inch. I like slightly larger monitors, like a 32-inch monitor. Toucan, the pen comes with the tablet, so you get the pen with the tablet. Yeah, I wish it had touch too. And I think in the future we're going to see more and more tablets have touch. So yeah, I think it's a decent tablet, but it's just decent, and you're going to have to make sure you can connect your computer to it. And that will take some diligence, okay? So I'll say, let me just write that as a summary. So decent consumer tablet. So this is the TLDR. Decent entry-level consumer tablet. Okay, I have no problem saying that. I would say if you need to verify, you can connect with your USB-C port. If you need HDMI connection, then have to buy $80 Wacom converter plus cables. So that's a lot. Yeah, it gets pretty expensive, right? So display is full HD, so 1920 x 1080. I would say AG Sparkle is low, which is good. I would say viewing angles are very good. Very good. Basically did not observe color shift at extreme angles. So I was very happy with the screen, actually. It has AG plus AF glass, so etched glass. Yeah, does not use a matte film. So let me matte with a T. So I think there's a consideration if you want to protect screen, get a third-party screen protector. Example from Photodon. Okay, Photodon. Touchscreen on pen displays don't work as well. Yeah, you know what's interesting to you is when I use touchscreens on pen displays, I don't use them for drawing. Definitely, I just use them for utility things, like when I need to. Actually, sometimes I'm gesturing here and I want to scroll up to the next PowerPoint slide or something, then I use touch. Like when I'm going through a script, when I'm recording a video, I use touch for that, but I don't use them for drawing. They definitely don't work as well on Mac as on Windows, I would say. Let's see. What else did I notice? Oh, for a drawing experience, like good accuracy, right? Pointer under pen tip in across entire screen. I would say excellent. So I would say it's excellent accuracy. Tilt compensation, very good. Across screen. Let's see what else. Included pen, compatible pens, any UD-EMR pens. Tested CP913, tested CP923, of course. Tested the S Pen. So there's a etc. Right? Let's see. Oh, surface texture. That's a good question. You know what? I'm gonna take the CP923 and just scrape on the surface. It's not heavily textured, I'll say that. And I'm gonna compare it to the Movink. Movink has a bit more texture. Wacom 113 touch. And the old Wacom one from 2019. Yeah, they don't have a lot of texture. It's not slip and slide. I'll compare it to the Movink pad. How's that? Yeah, not a lot of texture, but it's very similar to other screens from Wacom. So, not a lot of texture. Light surface texture, similar to older models and Movink, I think. So, what was I going to say? Pen does not feel slippery, that's for sure. Movink and Movink pad. Let's see. Parallax. Oh yeah, let me take a look at Parallax. Okay, you're gonna have to bear with me because I have to stare at this at a crazy angle here. You know what? I gotta tell you, Parallax is really good here. I mean, I'm actually surprised. Am I crazy? But Parallax looks really good here. Yeah, I did not expect that. In fact, I'm so like surprised by that. I'm like double checking. Yeah, Parallax is good. Parallax is good. Very low parallax. Pretty happy with it. I'll double check. I'll compare it to the 923 is included, Eddie. Yes, it is included. Yes. Let me make sure that's clear. Included pen. Parallax is good. Probably not as good as the Movink, but it's pretty good. that means there's a low amount of parallax. Oh, what else do we have to cover here? Tilt compensation, tracking actually. Pressure scan rate. I don't think there's going to be a problem. I'll just go ahead and just do the test in front of you. That's just, will it miss any strokes, honestly. And I haven't found a miss in a long time with any tablet. But because I know it's something... Remember, don't look at the quality of the strokes. This is just if it's going to miss any strokes. Okay, in fact... Color black. Let me make it a bit smaller. Yeah, I don't see any missing, so no missed strokes. Smooth pressure transition? I'd say so. I didn't notice any weird artifacts at low pressure. I'm drawing it really low pressure right now. Nothing weird is happening. Let me increase the pen size to really magnify it, 300 pixels. This will really demonstrate if there's problems. You're seeing some, you are seeing some pulsing there, but that's pretty typical. Even a Pro Pen will do that. So that's not a problem. And how do you solve that problem? Let me show you. You turn on the pressure curve a little bit, like that. See the pressure curve? And watch, see? All that disappears. The pressure curve, pressure smoothing will take care of it as well. But yeah, this is pretty typical for let me double check on the low pressure artifacts. Pressure, black. Let me turn off all this pressure curve stuff again. It's pretty typical. Yeah, like low pressure artifacts. Typical. With super light pressure plus big brushes. 300 pixels. Let me make sure you see what I'm typing. There we go. May see some blobbiness. I hope that's a scientific word. Can control with pressure curves plus pressure smoothing. You're unlikely to see it because it's kind of an extreme situation to create it. So again, it's pretty typical. Diagonal wobble. Let's test. Let's test. Let me move this keyboard out of the way for a second. Let's test diagonal wobble. There we go. Where's my wobble testing ruler? Okay, and for this, I go to 5 pixels, don't scale. The color is black. This may not be the best app for testing this, but we'll see. Actually, yeah, let me do this in Krita. My app is it's good for testing certain things, but I don't know if diagonal wobble is the best. It's good for that. Okay, there's Krita. Let's drag it over and delete this and zoom out. Oh, I can click on it directly. Let me zoom out to 25% for a second. Okay. And the brush I want is and the brush editor. That's not the right brush. I want a different one. I want the ink 3 or fine liner, and I want size to be not controlled by pressure, and nothing else to control it. I don't want strength to do anything. Right, I just want a constant width, and I think I want to zoom into 50%. Let's take a look. Oops, okay. So slow stroke. My feeling is that this is, in fact, pretty good. Maybe this might be a better view for you. No, that's not the right view. Well, at least you can see it this way. Very slow stroke. One more slow stroke. At this distance, it looks good. I will put my eyes really close to it. Now, faster stroke. You draw 3 of those. And then really fast strokes. There was a gap in that last stroke. I think there was something, not sure what happened there. Oh, I think it was a rendering issue. That's all. Create a render. Okay, let me take a look at these now. I will say just very, there's some low at low and medium speeds. There's some low amount of diagonal wobble, so it's fine. I would like it to be better, of course, but it's you probably wouldn't notice. And if you do, you would just use a little bit of stabilization to get rid of it. Actually, let me find out how much stabilization you would need. That's the next test. Let's go to tool options here and try weighted, what is that? 30? Let's see. Yeah, 30 I can't even tell. So that's good. That's good. Diagonal wobble. Very low at slow and medium speed strokes. In Krita, weighted smoothing of 30, removed the wobble. So yeah, it's very light, very light. I would say it's low, not very low, compared to other tablets I have. With smoothing, let me spell this correctly. Okay, pointer lag. It's typical. I've almost given up on talking about pointer lag because all tablets seem to have the same amount. All pen tablets. Typical for pen display of its size. If I compare it to MoveInk 11, I think you mean the MoveInk 13. Because the MoveInk Pad 11 is the Android device. Because of the pen, definitely, and the texture, I would say definitely the Cintiq and the MoveInk are better to draw on, I would say, but largely due to the pen. I I don't have a real problem with this, but the pen difference is really astounding with the Move Ink, with the Pro Pen 2, right? If you use the same pen on the Move Ink, it'll not be as good too. But the Pro Pen 2 and the Pro Pen 3 is just, or the Pro Pen 3, these Pro Pens are just amazing, right? Okay, I need a quick bio break. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and why is the music not playing? Maybe it's this, huh? That's weird. Okay, well, I'll solve that problem a little bit later. But at least, let me figure out why it's not happening. Everyone can hear me, right? I think that is going through. Sound effects are there. That's interesting. I'm going to switch these out, actually, because I like to have something playing. Okay, and there's a new test someone wanted me to do, so we're going to try that. Let's see, that is... Hello, Drinkwater. Okay, someone in the chat wanted me to do a test, and I'm going to try it. And let's see if this works. I am very curious about it. Okay. So the test was to... Let me just double check the phone to see what the test... This is about the pressure weirdnesses. It is... Use a brush with opacity and slowly draw at constant pressure. So moving up and down, using pressure mapped to opacity. That's a good test, and let's try it out. I'll do it with my tester first, and then we'll see what that reveals. Because it's easier for me to set up that way. Okay, let's take a look. This is a tough test. It usually catches problems, so I'll make it 50 pixels big. The color is going to be black. I'm going to scale. No. Oh, I don't have opacity. Oh, okay. I'll have to use Krita for this. I forgot I don't have opacity in my tool. Okay, so we'll go back to here. And I'm going to... You know what? It's easier for me to do this in clip, honestly, so I'm going to use clip. Because I use clip most often. And we'll see if... Hello? Okay. Let's move clip over. There we go. Okay, so we'll delete all this. I'll bring this thing up here, and I'm going to use the Milli pen. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit bigger. Like about 50 maybe? Maybe a bit bigger, 100. I could just drag that over. Okay, it's 99, that's big enough. And then we're gonna turn down, not turn down, we're gonna make the opacity. Let me double check that the brush size is not being mapped to pressure. Okay, good. Great. And you can't see it, I'm sorry, because the window's coming up. I'm mapping pressure to opacity, okay, linearly. So that means the harder I press, you see? Okay, now the test is for me to go, oh, you can't see what I'm seeing, of course. The test is for me to go up and down. And let's see what happens. So I'm going to do it at light pressure. And you're going to look for banding where it's getting lighter in a very regular way. Does anyone see? I'm trying to maintain, remember, I'm trying to maintain constant pressure. Does anyone see any banding? It's got to be very regular. It should be getting lighter in bands. I'm not seeing it. There are bands, but there's not. They're not. Sorry. There's segments that are lighter, of course, but I'm not seeing the kind of problems. Right. Let me show you what it looks like when it's supposed to be bad. Let me bring up the Discord. Give me 1 second. You'll see it. Once you see it, you'll understand exactly what's going on here. Live stream chat. You see banding, Nakdi? I didn't see, am I crazy here? I'm looking at the screen. Let me show you what Nakdi shows as banding, folks. Okay, now it's very subtle. It's very subtle. Let me bring the screen over. Do you see right here? I know it's very subtle. Do you see that there's maybe a little bit of a band here? Right? And it's almost like you have to step, you have to go away and look at it a little bit of a distance and look at the entire thing. Don't zoom in on one line. Look at the entire thing and you should be able to see some banding. It's very subtle. Okay? Remember, the width is not changing. It's just, I notice it right here. Right there. It's just, and then right here, then right here. And I'm pointing them out to you because it's a very regular pattern. Now with my strokes, I honestly don't think I see them. Now, Nocti tells me he sees them. Let me try a little bit heavier stroke. Again, take a look at the larger picture. Don't focus in on the banding to find the banding, okay? I'm not seeing it, Nocti. I'm not seeing it. If I compare the two, I just don't see it, right? Nothing regular. You see it, Konto? You see a slight banding? Interesting. I think we all agree we see it here, right? We all agree. Okay, Konto, the single shift, that might be me. That might be me because I'm, as I'm drawing, I'm pressing harder as I go down the screen, okay? Like you'll see there's a shift right here, right? That's me. If I drew, let me give you an example. Let me draw from bottom to top. Let's see if there's a different pattern. Again, it's just how I'm drawing the stroke. It takes me a second to get to the right pressure. I'm going to try to keep it more consistent. I'm going to try now with the pen very vertical. It's harder for me to control, by the way. I'm not seeing consistent banding, not to my eyes, not to my eyes. At least can we agree that it's, if you think there's banding, would you say that there's less than the other example I showed you? This example? Would you agree this has more? So I'm gonna say I don't see it, honestly. I'll do some more tests, but it's interesting that some people say they can see it. Let's see if Nocti has any more comments on this. Yeah, I think it's my hand, Nocti. I think it was my hand. So I'm gonna say I'm happy with the pressure. And what this makes me also think is I should go look again at the Wacom 113 Touch, maybe install a firmware update and see if that, right? That had any issues. Okay, let me go back into my notes. So let me write that down actually. I'm glad you mentioned that, Nocti, because that's a good test. Sometimes I forget the test. I'll call that pressure banding, none observed. And also I'll add, this is a note to myself. Note to self. You can't see what I'm typing. Okay, note to self, add a document on pressure banding testing. Just to be thorough, I'm going to do it across the screen, just to be consistent, because I should. I'm not seeing anything going up and down. Yeah, I think there's no banding. Konto, yeah, I saw it in the Wacom 1 Medium and Wacom 1 Small, which are pen tablets. It was pretty extreme before the firmware update. It got reduced quite a bit after a recent firmware update, I think earlier this year or maybe late last year. Now, though there could be other tablets that have it, but I didn't see it as much with the Wacom 113. Maybe not at all, I'm not sure. But definitely with the pen tablets, I saw it. It's a rare phenomenon. It's a very rare phenomenon, and only as far as I know, the Wacom 113, medium and small are the ones that have it. Not the one by Wacom, the Wacom 1 medium and small. Okay, so there's no pressure banding. Let's see if there's anything else I want to. Yeah, it's human-made shift. Exactly. And now I'm just taking a look at the notes I have. Let's see if there's anything else I want to. Tilt compensation, diagonal wobble. Yeah, it's limited to consumer stuff, I think. And not even all consumer stuff. Let me move this window out of the way. Display was sharp. Yeah, display was sharp. Pixels were well delineated. Let me add that. Sharp, well delineated. It does not support touch. I'll note that. Does not support touch. Legs, none. Stand, not included. VESA mounting. Just hang on, this phone is beeping. No. Has no VESA mounting holes. I should write this down. Connections. Only a single USB-C port. Yikes. It's not that bad, but like, the fact that we're missing one means you have to use, if you ever need extra power, you're going to have to use that $80 converter. So that's the problem. Audio, no audio. Auxiliary inputs. Inputs, none. No buttons or dials. Yeah, overall it's a decent tablet. It's a decent entry. What legs? Yeah, exactly. In listing where included is listed, should it say 923? Yeah, I didn't have that. Oh, you're right. I made a mistake. Thank you, Eddie. It's 923. 923. Thank you. I did make a mistake there. Okay, so I think we've gone over the tablet well enough. I'm pretty happy now that I understand what this is. It's not a bad tablet. I just, if someone's computer will work with it, it's an okay consumer tablet. Okay? And Wacom is still the most reliable brand on the market. So I'm not going to say anything like to that tablet. I don't see the pressure problems. I'm not happy with the pen. It's just okay. It's an okay pen. It is not an excellent pen. And I think this is, again, going to pose a problem in the future for Wacom because other brands' consumer tablets are getting really good. And even if they're not up to Pro Pen 2 level, they're exceeding what this tablet provides, right? If you take a look at the... Sorry, I got stuck in my throat. The Huion Canvas 13 Gen 3 is still the better choice, I think, honestly. But if you're concerned about the brand, like you've never heard of Huion, or you want a more established name, I have no hesitation in recommending this tablet, but definitely verify it'll work with your computer. You got to do that first, and I'll make a video on this hopefully this week. The second thing is you really have to understand how much the Wacom converter is going to cost if you need to use HDMI and which cables it needs. That's going to be complex. Number 3, if you have experience with a Pro Pen, you're going to notice the high IAF of this pen. There's just absolutely no doubt. And you're going to notice that pressure is hard to control. It's not bad. It's just okay. but you'll definitely notice the high AF, and you'll be able to hit the max pressure easily compared to other pens, compared to the Pro pens that are on the market. Okay, so I think we covered it all. I'm going to take my notes, I'm going to make a doc out of it, and I'll see if I can actually record a video today. If anyone wants to see the draft of the video, join the Discord and I'll share it. I always share the drafts of my videos there. Okay, anything else that we want to cover? I'll hang on for a little bit just in case there are any other questions. Well, this is a good session. I like doing it live because people ask me to try things. That's always fun. It gets me motivated. And this reminds me, I need to retest the older Wacom 1 tablets and the older, what's the other one called? The Wacom 1 pen displays and pen tablets for that pressure problem, the pressure banding problem. But yeah, this is pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna hang on for a little bit to see if there's any more questions in chat. And while I do that, I'm just going to open up YouTube real quick and see if there's anything I want to share with you, okay? Does anything come up? Oh, jeez, this thing is beeping at me. Hang on. Please calm down. Please calm down. Thanks, Kanto. Appreciate it. Appreciate when you joined the stream. Thanks for some good comments. Let's see if anything. This week, we may see a lot of XP Pen Ultra 16 videos. Maybe I'll react to one of them. Essentially, Kanto, if I understand this correctly, with these OLED screens, they are sort of turning on and off in some weird way, and most people cannot see it, but some people's eyes are really sensitive to it. So there's a test where you you reduce the brightness and then you measure it with a camera, because my eyes can't see it, and the camera will reveal a kind of moving shadow sort of across the screen, which will appear to a human, I guess, as a flicker. But yeah, lots of people can't see it, but many people can. And I'm one of the people who can't see it. As I remind people, I'm not very sensitive to flickering. So for example, for an entire year, I watched movies and drew with Clip Studio Paint on a computer for a year on a 50-inch TV screen at 30 hertz, and I couldn't tell the difference, right? You're back? Welcome back. Welcome back. A single rainbow skittle, I'm just waiting for, I think I'm done with the sort of unboxing and testing, so I'm just hanging out for any more questions or comments people have, and also just searching for anything interesting maybe people want to talk about on YouTube. There's not a lot of camera news right now, I'll say that. Oh, sorry, not camera news. I was looking at the camera video. There's not a lot of tablet news. Is anything interesting happening today? Yeah, it doesn't look like anything tablet-wise is happening. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're done. Yeah, I get it. Definitely test it in real life. If it was possible, always test a tablet in a retail store before you buy it, because that'll tell you a lot. Yeah, a single rainbow skittle. I think the 14's not probably what you're looking for, honestly. It's sad. Did you, by the way, a single rainbow skittle, did you not, you wanted me to look at another tablet. Was it the Wacom 113, the new model? the Wacom 113 Touch. Tell me if that was you, because maybe I'll do that this week as well. Because I wrote some things down about it, but I don't think I actually did I never wrote a proper write-up or review. So let me know if that's you. Okay, I'll hang out just one more minute, and then in case a single Rainbow Skittle has a response to that, and then I'll end the stream. You had the Gen 1. Okay, got it. Okay, everyone. It's been a great session. I'm actually happy I got this tablet because, again, I think it'll help people who have to get this tablet to know its strengths and weaknesses. And I want to thank you for your presence and your excitement and engagement on the stream. As always, Koyo says the PWM problem is more common on AMOLED displays. Is it? Okay. Okay, so if it's not AMOLED, it won't be as problematic. Okay. Everyone, have a great day, and I'll be back streaming soon. Okay? Bye.